Hey guys, today's video is a oxtail soup battle. And I know there's many different oxtail type of soups. I went with today the most popular ones. Later on, maybe I'll do another video of the other two famous ones. But today it's Kam Bowl versus Kapiolani Coffee Shop. They're the top oxtail soups. I know there's Asahi Grill and people rave about Aiea Bowl's oxtail soup, but I can't eat that many in one day, so we'll just do two. And if you hear the chickens crowing, I'm here at Aiea Loop Trail at the park and enjoying the beautiful breeze, which I think is perfect for something hot, because it is kind of hot in Hawaii. So I don't want to be sweating too much, so don't mind my little friends. We'll try the Kam Bowl one first, because I went there first before it gets too cold, but it comes in this paper bag. Give you the spoon and the utensils. I like how they, both of them, put the parsley and everything separate so it's not too soggy. I got the mini because I can't eat two big ones, but if you want a full meal, they have extra large bowls. But I got the mini so I can taste both without wasting food. And you can see both have similar containers, and they give you probably 1 scoop of rice. So we'll go with the Kam Bowl one first. As you can see, it's got a nice, clear, delicious broth. The Kam Bowl one first. Very light, clean broth, and they give you this bag of Chinese parsley and green onions. So we'll put some in there. I do like me some cilantro. There we go. And they do give you a side of the shoyu and ginger, where you can put as much as you want. And if you're not familiar with oxtail soup, it's kind of a local favorite, comfort food. It's pretty much, oxtails are really not ox, it's cow tails, boiled down till they're supposed to be tender. It gives off a nice broth, and you usually mix rice with it and put ginger, shoyu, and your Chinese parsley or cilantro, some people call it, and some green onion. We'll taste the broth without any shoyu or ginger. Nice clean taste. Like I said, it's kind of like a local mishmash, local food, but with Chinese influence. Usually it has peanuts in there and some star anise. Sometimes they use dried tangerine peel. And you can definitely taste that star anise in this soup, which I enjoy. It's a really clean soup, not too fatty. But I don't see any of the old school peanuts in here, probably because people are allergic to peanuts. But we'll put some of this ginger sauce inside and see how that tastes. And then mix our rice in there. I'm actually surprised they gave 2 scoops of rice instead of 1. I thought because it's a mini it would only have 1, but pretty good amount of rice. Take a taste. Hey, shut up. Very good with the rice. It's very filling and it soaks up all that delicious soup. I think the green onion and Chinese parsley are a must. For those who do like cilantro, it just complements everything well. Some of the pieces of the oxtail fell off of the bone. Super good, very tender, right amount of seasoning. You want tender oxtails. I actually got some from a different place and it was just so tough. It is a tough meat and you need to simmer it very long, but this is their oxtail. Pretty meaty pieces, not too big, but got a lot of meat on it instead of just bone. We'll dig into that. Tender, fall off the bone. Let's dip some shoyu and ginger in the oxtail, see what it's about. Delicious. The only thing about oxtails is you definitely need to use your hands. It's going to be really hard to use a fork with it because of the bone in the middle. So it does get kind of greasy and sticky. I'm loving it. This is good. I did feature this restaurant. It was one of my first restaurants, Kam Bowl, in my first video of Kalihi. They're an institution in Kalihi, and if you don't know Kam Bowl restaurant, they're known for their oxtail soup. They used to be in Kam Bowl, which was a bowling alley next door where the Walgreens is. They knocked it down, and that's why the name is kind of weird. You're wondering, what does it have to do with bowling if you're not from Hawaii? But they continued on the restaurant because the restaurant inside the bowling alley was famous for their oxtail soup and breakfast items. So oxtail is really expensive even if you were to buy it from the store here in Hawaii to make it yourself. It's a very expensive item, so these soups will cost you a little bit. Oh, I did find a peanut in here, but there is a pretty good amount of meat in here, even though it's a mini. I see one little oxtail, a small piece, a big one, the one I just finished, and 2 more pieces. So pretty much 3 pieces and 1 little tail. All right, I thoroughly enjoyed that. I'm not going to finish all of it. I'm going to save it for later because I want to still have an appetite for the next round. So we'll put this away and go back to the Kapiolani Coffee Shop oxtail soup. This is a clear broth as well, but I believe the Kam Bowl one was a little bit cleaner looking and clearer. This one's a little bit cloudy, but still looking good. It looks like there's a generous amount of oxtail in here. I went ahead and put my condiments in there, my cilantro and my green onion, and we'll go taste the soup before we put any ginger in there. Same thing. So the soup is quite different, a little bit different. You can tell the difference. It's got good taste, but not as much star anise flavor, but it's there. It's kind of got more of a sweet taste. Not sure where that's coming from, but much sweeter aftertaste. But same thing, it's very clean tasting. Not too fatty, considering there's a lot of fat on the tail. And just a nice clean broth. All right, let's put the sauce in here. Just a smidgen. I don't like it to be too soy saucy because then it's a little bit too salty for me. And then we'll add our rice. Yo, you guys need to go away. Yeah? All right, let's taste it. A lot more ginger in their sauce, it seems. A lot of really pungent ginger taste. Same thing, soaks up in the rice, all the juices. Very filling and comforting. This is one of their smaller oxtails. So we'll give it a taste. This one's very tender, totally fall off the bone, melts in your mouth. Same thing, it seems like they give you an ample amount of rice, except it's not scoops. It looks like they just scooped it with a rice scooper instead of those ice cream scoops and just filled up this little package here. And same thing as Kam Bowl, it looks like you get 4 pieces about. So pretty generous with the oxtail for a mini anyway. Take a bite into this bigger piece. And oxtail is very fatty and gelatinous, so this cut that they're using seems pretty meaty. Lots of lean meat on it. I think Kam Bowl and Kapiolani Coffee Shop, if you want to compare, Kapiolani Coffee Shop's oxtails are boiled or simmered till they're fall off the bone, really, really tender. This is just melt in your mouth. Although I did like Kam Bowl's oxtail, they're still not tough, but this one's just really, really tender and melt in your mouth. I will say once you add this though, it's very, very gingery. So if you're not into ginger, you might want to just put a little bit or omit it, but it's really making the soup kind of overwhelming. All right, so my final verdict, well, we'll go over to 2. The Kam Bowl oxtail soup. Very flavorful, clean broth, perfectly seasoned, not too salty, not too bland. Like the oxtails, they were cooked till they're tender. And I like the condiments. Everything was fresh. They gave utensils, called it in and it was ready. Even if you were to walk in, it's already boiling in the pot, so it shouldn't take too long to make and package up. So for the oxtail soup at Kam Bowl, it was $17.95. For the Kapiolani Coffee Shop one, you get an ample amount of rice as well. Soup is clear and well seasoned as well, but a little bit cloudier and darker than the Kam Bowl soup. They did give the ginger sauce as well, although I thought that was a little bit overwhelming for my taste compared to the Kam Bowl one. The oxtail was the same amount as Kam Bowl. They were generous with the meat. It seemed more lean with more meaty parts, and both had good cuts though. Good enough meat, not just bone. And the meat was simmered so well that it just melted in your mouth. If you wanted to compare the two both are simmered really well. It's not tough at all for both. But if you wanted to compare who simmered theirs the most, I would say Kapiolani Coffee Shop. For the Kapiolani Coffee Shop oxtail soup, that cost $17.50. Both, I think, were similar in quantity. Nobody skimped on anything. The meat, the soup, and the rice. Both are the same containers, so I think it's pretty fair all around. If you're asking me what my favorite was today out of the two I tasted, I'm gonna have to go with Kam Bowl. The reason being the taste was better in the soup. I thought it was cleaner. I liked the star anise that came out, whereas the Kapiolani Coffee Shop one didn't really have the spices. I'm not sure if they used star anise or the tangerine peel. I know the last time I showed my Kalihi video, you could see the tangerine peel in the soup if you were to buy the big extra large bowl and actually dine in at Kam Bowl. So they do use the traditional Chinese herbs that they usually use in oxtail soup. I like that there was a little bit of peanut in the Kam Bowl one. I didn't find any peanuts in the Kapiolani Coffee Shop one. Although the Kapiolani Coffee Shop meat was more tender, I can still deal with the oxtail tenderness at Kam Bowl because it's still tender and it still falls off the bone. I thought their sauce also was a little bit better and well balanced, whereas the Kapiolani Coffee Shop one was a little bit too gingery for me, but everything's subjective. Everybody has different taste buds, but that's just my preference. So thanks for joining me on the Battle of the Oxtails. Maybe next time for oxtail soup, I'll do Asahi Grill versus Aiea Bowl, their oxtail soup. So I'll see you again. Take care of yourselves. See you on another food adventure. Subscribe if you're new and press the like button if you like this. Peace out.